NBL SuperCoach round 2. Ended up being a fun one for me. Made some big moves. Did have to pay for it with a boost, but I selected correctly. And it's a far cry from how I usually go at the beginning of seasons. So, being in a great position, 162nd overall I am currently out of the 18,000 squads. It's about 17,500, I think, pre-round 1 or during round 1 there. So, that's, it's a really, really good effort. Obviously, clear top 1%. A 428 this week was awesome. And I was looking between Derek Walton Jr., Jalen Adams. And I was like, well, Adams probably has a bit more upside and is in a better team. So we'll pick Adams. And that obviously ended up being the correct play. He didn't have as perfect of a game 2 as we would have hoped. But then we obviously saw what happened with Walton Jr. having a shocker there. One from 7 or something like that? And a bunch of turnovers and all the rest. So, yeah, Adams had an absolute shocker as well, but still managed to get 24 points. 2 for 12 and 6 turnovers. That doesn't sound like a great game, but he had enough assists and everything else on the other side of it. So, that was a good win. Brought in Rob Lowe and Illy. And overall, not ideal at all. Those two, let's go in and check out where we're at on that one. But I think we're up about 166k in round 1, and that's the big goal. Obviously, points is very, very helpful, but getting on the guys that are going to make you some cash. And unfortunately, I thought Illy was going to make some, and he picked up a 27 across two games. Is absolutely shocking. So yeah, upset about that one. And then Rob Lowe only with a 9 in that second game for him there. But outside of that, I was very, very happy with how everyone else performed. We had White. Day's second game was incredible, and it was frustrating me. He ended up with a sneaky double-double, and then Adams was playing like crap, and we're hoping for a lucky double-double from him as well. But wasn't to be. And but anyway, 62 for captains today, 75 for Adams. Having both was obviously the big winner. White with an incredible game too. Lepepe, 20k gain, massive for him. Low went up, a little bit as well. Nothing crazy, 11k. But it was solid enough. And obviously, 11, 12, 15k, 20, 30, all is massive in the grand scheme of things. You had Aldrich go up 30k there. Oliver up 15k was great. Adams, 20 odd. Illy went down a little bit. Hickey's lovely game, 19 yesterday was helpful. And we got Henschel for the double game for his uptick in obviously his price as well. So the quicker we can get these bench guys up, and the quicker we can cycle through these 277k guys, obviously, Adams making money is really, really helpful. White going up almost 30k. The quicker we can get these guys up in price, the quicker we can get to a gun team on a regular basis. And then some guys you'll be able to hold through singles because you know that they've got doubles on the other side. That's the general play for me, and the plan it should be for you in these first 4 to 6 rounds is using a bunch of your trades for money making, using the odd boost every second week or whatever it happens to be. There's a few important weeks that I think we'll need one, round 5 being most important. And outside of that, I don't think there's any other clear rounds that are incredibly important. There are some that are. Round 9's a good little target one, but if you're preparing in advance and you have a pretty good high value squad, you can keep the odd guy that's 250k, an Oliver this week. These types of guys can stay on your bench so that then when their doubles come up the next week, you can have them there and you're not needing that boost, for example, back then, in those rounds. So that's something to look at for your side. And I think for my side, these are all the things that I'm thinking of for my team, guys. So just passing it on to you guys. And if it helps you, awesome. If it doesn't, then that's fine as well. But captaincy is going to be really important, and just making sure that your captain is fairly safe in terms of they have the keys to their side. In an Adams, for example, they are one of their important guys. We'll speak about guys like Magnay this week, a very important cog in their team. You've got Xavier Cooks as well with the Kings. For Adelaide, you've got Vasiljevic, Kendrick Davis. These guys are going to put up shots. For example, there, Montrezl Harrell just is an absolute beast. But you're looking at that Southeast Melbourne team, and it's very spread out across the team. With Walton Jr., that wasn't really a worry coming into round 2, but he didn't have his hands on the ball, or the team isn't gelling as much as he would have hoped. So then, when the team's not gelling as much, the ball's going to stagnate a little bit more, and those assists that he got in that round 1 clash when they were really zinging it around and taking shots and yeah, just playing some good team basketball. Wasn't the case in this round, especially that second game. So just looking at those types of players, you've got Cotton for Perth, you've got Dellavedova, especially for Melbourne, Jack White apparently now. Cairns is going to be an interesting one with Taron Armstrong coming back. We'll talk about a few cheapies as well. Magnay for Tasmania, Milton Doyle to a similar extent, but is going to be a bit more up and down being a guard. For Illawarra, it's going to be Trey Kell. He's got his hands on the ball. He is going to take a lot of shots. He is going to make a lot of shots. He's a big boy and a good shooter. For Brisbane, it was Harrison in this one, but he's going to have games where he's nullified a little bit as well. Keandre Cook is obviously their big dog at the moment, with Bannon not in the game as much. And we spoke about the other team. So that's some of the things you need to be thinking of. And also just minutes. Like looking at guys in my team, with Hickey, he's getting minutes. Like he didn't play well the first two games, but the third game he played great. But he's picking up over 20 minutes a game. And that's something that, you're going to have decent games when you play those minutes. You're going to have some lower ones for sure, like you saw with Walton Jr., these types of guys. But if you're fairly cheap around that 106 or whatever we started with for Hickey, at 22 minutes a game, he's going to make money. And yes, he's got some singles coming up, but that's the important part here. And if you're putting your SC Plus on, I think everyone's got it for free for now. I thought I bought it for the whole year, but apparently I don't. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I might do. But I bought it for the NRL season. I'm not sure if it carries over. But someone like Rob Lowe now is a little bit more of a worry, considering he's coming off a 9. Illy coming off a 8 or whatever he's bloody got. Has a break even of 58. Lowe has a break even of 33 on the double, obviously. But this is a worry now. Illy's gone down in price, and if he has, if he goes okay and hits hits what his projection is at 41, he's going to lose 17k. So that's where it can be a little bit frustrating. You're looking at Adams, he's got a single game, it's 35 now. So because he had a lower game for the 24, he now comes into this with a higher break even. So just be aware of that when you're looking at players in your side as well. We're obviously focusing on doubles this week, and those players that are going to have their first price rise. So the teams that are going to be going up in price this week are Brisbane, and all of their games count. But the games that don't count, and the teams I should say, is that first game for Adelaide, for Cairns, for Tasmania, and for Perth as well. So their first games aren't going to count in their break evens. So just have a look at that. Someone like Lat Mayan, for example, who we'll speak about now. He had a 34, whatever it was in the first game. He had a 17 on the weekend. So that 17 is the only one that counts, and therefore he will go up. If he scores a couple of 17s in a row, he'll go up in cash, but it won't be anywhere near what it would be like if he was coming off that 34. So be aware of that with certain guys. But yeah, obviously doubles are the play this week, and it's Adelaide, it's Cairns, it's Perth, and Tassie, obviously, and then Melbourne. So the 5 there have the doubles. Obviously, your Melbourne United guys you still own, so you're holding on to them most likely, unless you're got to have a bench guy in low, or he's going to be in your starter and you're not too excited about it. Maybe you could remove one of those guys early rather than waiting for round 4. And but there's an interesting one here because of the round 4 doubles that are there and available. It is the Kings obviously have that double. You have Adelaide and you have Cairns have that double. But then round 5, it's only New Zealand and Tasmania. So this week with Magnay coming off an incredible 56, he's going to be a very popular target this week because of that the duo of doubles in round 5 between them and New Zealand. We aren't going to touch any New Zealand until round 5. So if you can have a Tasmanian player in your side early that you could hold for next week and is going to make some money, he becomes really, really important. Darius Days is going to be likely a trade out for your side this week. And there are players of note that you want to be looking at. And let's just, what you should be doing in your own team is putting the filter on there and going through. So clicking Adelaide, clicking Cairns there. You got United obviously as well. You've got Perth who have the double this week. And then you have Tassie with the double as well. So have a look at those players. And you've obviously got the total points there. I think looking at average is going to be really important there. So Will Magnay is the clear standout across the forward position. At 317k dual position, has a double in 3 and 5. Yes, he doesn't have 2 doubles in a row, which could hurt you next week, but have a look at your numbers for next week. And if he's sitting there with at least one other Sydney Kings player in your side, and you're picking up at least sort of one Adelaide or Perth one Adelaide or one Cairns player, then you could boost the following week. If you picked up another two, so you had Oliver and you picked up an Adelaide and a Cairns player or two Adelaide players or whatever it is, then you would just have to double trade the following week in round 5 there to be able to get a couple of players on the park. Sorry, round 4 there to get a couple of players on the park, which will be for the doubles, which will be great there for sure. If you look at other guys, Sam Wardenberg had an incredible game. Picked up a 50 on the weekend with Tanner Groves only playing 7 minutes. So there's obviously that to note there, that they had one of their stars in their team, their imports, that didn't play many minutes. So Wardenberg had a really big game on that front, but he has 2 back-to-back doubles and has a really, really low break even. So if you don't have or don't want to spend up on these more expensive guys, then Wardenberg has risk associated with him, but he has a 50 in his game and he has a 50 in his average. So, we had him last year in our teams, a lot of people did, and he was okay at best. He didn't really get involved as much as we would have hoped. So, there's some worries there for sure. At that cheaper price, but he plays doubles in round 3 and 4 and will make money for sure. Coming off a 50, unless he gets injured, he'll make some cash. Montrezl Harrell just playing just over 20 minutes and picking up a 35, double-double threat, gets the odd block, gets the odd steal. So I think he's going to be a really solid player. There's obviously some worries that, if he's only getting to 20, 21 minutes, that and he has to share time with Humphries as well, that he might not score perfectly. Like, he has to have a PPM of 1.5 at the moment for him to score where we want him to, around that 30-35. So there is a little bit of a worry there on Trez, but this is only his second game in a long time, and he showed that he can score back-to-back, 33 and 35. So anything around there, and you'll be absolutely stoked with the dual position as well, and 2 doubles back-to-back. So he's a very interesting, good pick this week for sure. You could look at guys like Doolittle at 276. Is not too expensive, but he's averaging 29.5. It's really solid at the price, but do you want to go there with him? I think Dylan Windler is a really, really fun one to pick up. And if you haven't got Henschel, I think making sure you get him at 69k is going to be the play. But you do have Pepper on the other side, who we'll get into shortly, that picked up 18 points and was one of their saviors at the back end of that game to get them close to winning that, to keep them in the game for sure. So that was interesting, but Henschel's going to be fun. I think Windler is a really, really good guy to pick. He's an absolute double-double threat. His rebounding is immense, and obviously that's a lower stat line than the others. If you're picking up assists, you're getting 2 points obviously compared to the 1. But when you're a double-double, man, we've seen games of him over in the G League where he's picked up 30-odd rebounds and stuff like that. He had 20-odd points, 23 points, 33 rebounds or something in games. So he is an NBA level player and will have good games, and is at a really solid price with that forward guard dual position as well. Lat Main at 133, as I was just spoke about earlier, is a really solid option. Can he continue to do well? We'll find out. Rob Lowe, easy to hold. I understand if you're looking to potentially move on from him as well. Like, he's not really likely to make too much money this week. Could lose some money if he plays anything like he did in that second game on the weekend. He seems to get himself in foul trouble regularly. But when things go right, he can accumulate stats quick enough. So, up to you on that one with Robbie. Don't go for Tanner Groves. You got Tarangi there, a 20 score and a 16 score. It's fine at that price point. Like, I think you're going to make a little bit of money. So you could go there, but it's not super exciting for him. I wouldn't be going for Bradshaw. Karen Galloway's more of an interesting one. That first score of his doesn't count, that 9, but that 25 does, and he got some good minutes. But again, you had Tanner Groves out, so it could be inflated. Nick Marshall only picked up the 8. Make sure I think you have to get rid of Pinder after a -6 if you do own him. He's just going to lose money, unfortunately. I don't think he can cop that at this stage of the year, losing too much, even if he was to score well across these 2 games, to be fair. And then you've got Marshall with a low score. I don't think you can grab him now after the 100 at 105k. And we'll speak about some of the guards as well later down the track. But that's the forward position in that one. Let me know what you think on that spot there. If you're looking to the centers now, we just went through a couple of them. Obviously, based on average, there's not many that are... sorry, we skipped a few. We're a bit low. We spoke about Magnay, Wardenberg, and Harrell. You've got Marcus Lee, picked up 3.5k, but averaging close to 20 at 207k is not exactly what you want. And then we get down to guys like Almanza. If you hold on to him, you probably hold on again. He's got the double. I think that's fine. Humphreys, you need to move on from. I think he's just going to lose too much cash. And that's it from the centers. So it's really only the guard spot then. And someone to look at is obviously, I was going to say Shaley. Just trade him out. Guys to look at from the guard spot is going to be the average of Kendrick Davis. I was like, he should be up the top. He's averaging 31 across the 2 games. That 29 doesn't count. It just has the 33 there. And then the next 2 games to count for him. Him and Vasiljevic are getting up a lot of shots. He hasn't shot the ball well as of yet, and he's working his way into this team, and they need a win. So I expect Davis and DJ Vasiljevic to have really good games in the next couple for them. Their little run in round 4 is harder than theirs in round 3. They do, play against Southeast Melbourne, which I think they'll be able to put up some points against, and both should do fairly well. So if you aren't sure on Kendrick, I think DJ, obviously 70k more expensive or just under, is a really good pick as well. I think Bryce Cotton, you can go him or Magnay. Obviously, both really solid captaincies. You can go for DJ. I think that'll be solid. I think Milton Doyle would be a solid captaincy as well. Across 2 games, I think he'll have a good one. He picked up 41 in game 1 and 24. Like a 65 across 2 games seems pretty fair for Milton with chances to go big. So there's a couple of guys up top. You want to be looking at Delvedova. They've been on baby watch. Does it happen this week? I'm not sure. Don't know if you can grab him now at 326, but he's having really solid outings there. Not as good in that second game, but none of them were. So keep a lookout on those guys. Rob Edwards, that's 36 is the one that counts for him. So expect him to do fairly well. But if Taron Armstrong is back, the talk was after 2 weeks, he'll be back in week 3. If Armstrong is to be back, that changes a lot for this Cairns side. And we're going to see a bunch of their guys, Jonah Antonio, Kyle Adnam, all these types of guys is not as big and as good of an options as they could have been because of Taron Armstrong coming back into this side. And if we see him, if we hear about him returning, then these guys become less of an options, and you're probably not expecting 23s from Antonio, and you may not be expecting 36s from Rob Edwards going forward. But you just have to see how that one plays out. But Elijah Pepper, the 27 counts for his scoring, just the same as it does for Ben Henschel. So both those guys will make money, but do they split minutes from each other? Does Pepper earn extra minutes? Does he steal some from Henschel? These are all questions that we're worried about, but I do think either one of them are still going to be a good pick up at 69k. You saw what Lepepe was able to do without having an incredible game, like picking up 10s, 11s, whatever it was, and then like a 19 or 17 on the weekend. 17. He was able to make 20k from the 69 starting points. So that's really, really helpful when you're looking at that. We spoke about Tarangi, obviously. Kyle Adnam, will make some money if he plays, but that's the only real worry is the fact that you've got Armstrong back in that one there. And then no one really else to look at in that guard spot. So pretty simple heading into this week. It's just getting at least 1, potentially 2 of those Adelaide or Cairns guys. That'll be the best play for you. Do you get, Magnay? That could be the other one. So it's 1 Magnay and 1 of like Harrell, Latmayan, Vasiljevic, Kendrick Davis. A bunch of those guys I think are going to work. Do you hold on to Cam Oliver? Can you hold on to Jalen Adams? Can you hold on to one of those guys there? Do you hold on to Days for another week and milk some more cash from him and probably a good score against Adelaide? These are all questions that you want to have. Do you captain Jack White after a really, really solid 5 quarters, 19 points into 47 in the next game? So he was great. So lots of questions. There's going to be guys that pop up that are cheap enough and are going to make some good money that, will be good time to recycle some of these cheapies. But I think we can milk these guys a little bit more and, just do a job. Don't have to trade them out. Continue to cycle the guns and get good scores there. And, we'll see how we go. I'm 162nd personally, and it's the best I've been in, early part of a season in any of the Supercoaches or fantasy. So it'd be cool to see how I end up coming out of being in a good position to push forward into this. And I'll keep trying to take some risks, keep using the boosts. There's a funny guy in my comments at the moment. We've been going back and forth. He won't tell me his team name, but he's happy to say that he's got me covered because I've used a boost already. It's been pretty fun. So thanks for the back and forth in that one. You can go back to the last video and check that one out. But there you go. That's the NBL SuperCoach results for my team and my thoughts on the buy, hold, sell for the week ahead. Good luck, guys. I'll see you in the next one.